Hello guys, I'm Hussein and today you're going to learn about using virtual environments in Python. So before I get started, there are a few requirements I need to state. So first of all, you need to have Python installed on your machine, and installing Python is pretty really easy. Especially if you're using Linux, Python already comes in your distribution, so it's not a problem. Another thing you need to install is Anaconda or Miniconda. So this is the main tool that we're going to be using to run virtual environments. So for example, on my machine, I've installed Miniconda because it's like a more minimal version of Anaconda and it's all we need for today. So yeah, first things first, why do we need virtual environments? Yeah, so let me show it to you via a little diagram. So let's say I have two projects, okay, and both of these projects, they rely on one single dependency called Flask. Okay, they both rely on Flask. One thing, however, is different is that, for example, let's say project 1 relies on Flask version 1.0 and project 2 relies on Flask version 2.0. Okay, so this is fine, yeah. However, when there is a problem here is that, let's say I want to run project 1 on my machine, so I need to install Flask 1.0. Later on, if I wanted to run project 2 on my machine, then I need to install Flask version 2.0. So this is going to be an issue, right? Running pip install many times. So to prevent this problem from arising, and then to also prevent something called dependency conflicts, where I want to ensure that my projects don't break because of conflicting dependency versions, is I need to find a way to isolate them, right? So like I'm gonna make a little box to show you about creating their own isolated environment to make sure that they don't break. Okay, so to make this little isolated environment, I will use my virtual environment. Okay, virtual environments. So yeah, that's virtual environments in a nutshell. So like in other words, what this tool does is it just creates isolated Python environments for each project to prevent dependency conflicts. Okay, so yeah, now that we've done the basics, let's now write code for it. So what I do here is you open a separate terminal window. Okay, and so first, to create a conda environment, we will use this command. Okay, we'll use a conda create dash n. So dash n specifies the name, and then here you specify a name. So for in this example, I'm going to do project 1. So I created one project. You press enter, and then I'm going to create another environment, conda create and dash n project 2. That's done. Okay, so now we've created them. So how do we see if we've actually created them? So let me show you too. So let me just clear all of this, then I do conda env. So I'm just telling it to list all of the environments on my machine, conda env list, and then yeah. Okay, so I have both of my virtual environments on the system. So here now I'm going to show you to you how we can actually access these virtual environments and then use them. So here I'm going to make another terminal window, open another terminal window here. I'm going to free up and make space here, and then I'm going to zoom in. Okay, awesome. So here in this terminal window, I'm going to run conda activate. So in this terminal window, I want to use project 1. Okay, So here, as you can see, this terminal section window is now using project 1. The second one is gonna be using project 2. Okay, so now they both are using their respective virtual environments. And now here I'm gonna, for example, let's say in project 1, let's say I'm installing Conda install. So what I'm doing here is I am installing a package. So for in this example, I'm installing Flask. Yeah, so now it's going to install Flask here, and now I'm going to do the same here as well. Conda install Flask. Y here. Awesome. So I've installed Conda. So I've installed virtual environments here. Now let me show you too. So for example, let's say in project 2, I want to install more packages. Okay, so for that, I'm gonna do conda install numpy. Yeah, and this is now gonna install numpy on this system, on this virtual environment. Great. So now we're done. And so earlier I said that conda or virtual environments, they isolate your projects. Yeah. So this is where it really shines. So if, for example, let's say project 1, it relies on an older version of Python. For example, let's say it relies on Python version 3.7. So I'm gonna do conda install and then Python. So I wanna, install Python version 3.7. Awesome. So as you can see here, it attempted to install another version of Python here, and let's check it out. Let's see if Python has been actually downgraded. So I do Python dash dash version. Great, 3.7.16. Here, let's see Python. It should be using a more recent version. Yeah. So as you can see here, they both are using separate versions of Python. Okay. And let's say I want to list out what packages I've installed on my system, on my virtual environment. Sorry. So we can do this via conda list. So it lists out all of the installed packages. Yeah. Or I can just do conda list and then grep. So I grep it Python. So it's gonna tell me if it has installed Python. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, and let's say I want to update my dependencies. So I'm going to do conda update dash dash all. So basically it says take all of my packages and then update all of them if there are any package updates. Yeah, it's done. So now that we have our virtual environments, let's now try to let's say we're now done coding. Yeah, so the last step, of course, would be to remove these virtual environments, so that to clean up our system. So to do so, what I'm going to do first is I run something called conda deactivate. Okay, so now the virtual environment name is not listed here anymore, so it means I have exited the virtual environment, and then I can remove it by saying conda remove dash dash name and then the name of my environment. So it's project 1, and then I wanted to tell it to remove all of the dependencies dash dash all. Great, I've removed all of my dependencies. So now that we've now completely learned about virtual environments, let's now learn how we can integrate them with VS Code. So in VS Code, you need to have two extensions, which is Pylance and Python extension. Okay, and now let's now use them. So basically what you do is you open a Python file, and then here where it says select interpreter, you click it, and then it's gonna tell you what environment you want to choose. So for example, since we created project 2, we can select project 2 here, and then VS Code will basically run our Python files within this environment. However, let's say you want to use another virtual environment. Let's say you want to create one. Okay, so to do this, what you do is you go say, you open the command palette by pressing Control Shift P or Command Shift P if you're using a Mac. Then we do create environment here. So then it attempts to create an environment. So now it tells us by which method. So I'm going to use Conda. So now I've selected Conda. Now it's going to check out what Python versions we can use. So let's say I want to use Python version 3.11. Okay, and now it's going to create a Python version 3.11. So now that we've created our virtual environment here, as you can see, it has created a separate folder which basically contains our config for this project. Okay, and yeah, it has basically created our config, and then we can also try to remove it by just deleting this folder. Okay, and one thing you need to know is that the environment that we just created by VS Code is it does not show up in Conda environment list. Okay, so it is only local to this project. You cannot use it anywhere else. And let's say you want to get rid of this environment, all you can do is just delete it and then it goes away. Yeah, so that's it for today, guys. Hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, please mention them in the comment section. Thank you and bye bye.